Today on the Freemasonry Report, dropping the F-bomb in life as a Freemason. I hope you enjoy. So today on the Freemasonry Report, we're going to be talking about dropping the F-bomb. And I use that because it could be any curse you want to plug in, any swear word you want to plug in. This is kind of an unusual topic, and I feel it helps new brothers that might be joining our fraternity and get them in line of what some of our more tenured and established brethren already may know. So this might be a bit of a review for some of you, but for some of you, I think it's important that we discuss it and we put it out there for the world to hear. So enjoy. Okay, so talking about dropping the F-bomb, I want to just really cover the basics of cursing first. I know no one is a saint, and there's probably been a point in time where any given brother could say they used foul language at some point. And in some careers, like the military, it's not uncommon to hear, as one Navy SEAL said in an interview, that he used a primary amount of vulgar language with the and if mixed in. Taking that into consideration, when we're not in a wartime situation, you want to really be careful of how you present yourself, and using foul language is one of the presentations to the community that you need to consider. I know it's not easy, and when you get angry and upset, it's very easy to fly off the handle and drop the F-bomb. Because for some people that is a way to use an exclamation point, but it doesn't wear well for a fraternity and our brotherhood when you do that. So you always want to try to control your passions and keep them in due bounds, because it's not honorable. Okay, so let's talk about behavior at home. At home, you want to make sure that you try to always live a good lifestyle, and you want to start having honor in your house, and using cursing type of words isn't a good thing to do. Now, everyone's human, and sometimes you do get upset, but you want to control that, and you want to control the outburst and the yelling and the screaming, and everyone can get better at that. So with that being said, as a brother, you want to hold yourself to a higher standard. You do not want to be the one at the kitchen table cursing and using profanity, because it doesn't wear well. And if you have a guest over your house, it makes not only the fraternity look bad and yourself look bad, but it makes your family look bad too. So you want to make sure your behavior is honorable and something that you can sleep at night knowing that you're not doing a disservice to our humble organization. So now that we've kind of looked at behavior at home, where's one place you should never actually curse? And that would be in the lodge room and during the lodge meeting, during the lodge hours. There's no good excuse for that. And it really shows very poorly that all the degrees and all the learning that was taking place in degrees fell short. If you're going to use those type of words in lodge and around lodge, it doesn't look well for guests that come to lodge, for family members of brothers in lodge. It doesn't do well. And I know there are some comedians and some actors that can actually use a curse word and make it sound funny because that's their given career. But that's not our career. That's not who we are. We're a fraternity made up of men of honor. So we want to honor ourselves and each other by never using the F-bomb or any one of the popular curse terms that are out there. We always want to make sure we are living above the fray. Okay, so with that being said, let's just take a hard look at where do you start to make sure that a person of high character joins our fraternity. That's with the investigation committee. The investigation committee needs to be going out and meeting the actual potential candidates and talking with them and finding out if they're a good fit for our fraternity. And at that time, if they see someone who's using a large volume of profanity, and it's not in a humorous way, it's just part of their vocabulary, they need to take a hard look and say, does this person represent our lodge or not? And they need to take a hard look and say, does this person add value to our fraternity after they are a Master Mason? Will they learn the values of our fraternity and represent them well in the community? These are things we need to consider. Now, I say this in a very direct way because I want everyone to be aware that a good investigating committee will actually take in mind all the things that are happening in the actual process. And they'll say, hey, this person may not be good because of the fact that they're using a lot of profanity and it won't represent our fraternity well at all. I know it's hard in work and business not to every once in a while use profanity because a lot of things that are very challenging, but it's not professional at all to use profanity. And over the course of my life, I've learned as a young person becoming more of an adult not to use profanity. And it's something that is an ongoing challenge that I see in the business world because passions do get really stretched because people are trying to make their living and they're doing a lot of different things. You have tradesmen that talk a certain way, you have professionals that talk a certain way, white collar professionals that talk a certain way, and each one of those individuals could use a lot of profanity because they're dealing with high levels of stress. Now, where we as Freemasons learn in our degrees a lot of important teachings, and hopefully we take away those teachings, you can say, maybe I need to control myself more. And it's an ongoing thing because we're not perfect. We're human beings. But cursing is one of those things where we could try to perfect ourselves not to use the foul language as much and try to find different words. If you're noticing you're cursing a lot, try to find other vocabulary that's a better fit for that situation. And if you don't know the vocabulary that you want to use, stop, take time, and actually pick up a dictionary, pick up a thesaurus, and start reading it and try to find a word that better fits the situation other than the F. Now, recently I did a video called That's So Unmasonic, and in that video I talked a lot about things that would be deemed unmasonic in nature, and cursing is one of those things where it kind of goes against Masonic law. Now, if you were to pick up your Grand Lodge's digest or constitution or bylaws or whatever term they use to sort of say this is our way we look at ourselves and way we live by, that's a Masonic law, and there's a lot of things that are seen as regular. One of those things that is seen as regular is not using profanity. Now, we all know that having secrecy and so many other things are important in our Masonic law, but not using profanity and evil speaking are two of the big ones, because let's face it, if you drop the F-bomb in the middle of a lodge meeting, that's unmasonic in nature. And that's something that we definitely see as being not good for our fraternity, especially in open lodge. So if you did use the F-bomb in open lodge, let's have a what if scenario. What if you use the F-bomb in open lodge, or one of the other popular curse terms? You are putting yourself in a position where your Grand Lodge and your lodge could take up fraternal discipline against you for doing that. So every time you would actually curse in lodge is actually against Masonic law. And I hope it never happens in my lifetime where I'm sitting in open lodge and there's someone that drops the F-bomb. I would just be mortified and I would be very upset. And I know for a fact that I would feel that's a disrespect to our fraternity and every brother that's ever been part of our fraternity. And because I feel that way, it wouldn't be uncommon if a lot of other brothers were that way and summons were brought against that brother that did drop the F-bomb, since we're doing a what-if scenario, and he would have to explain himself, and he would have to go before possibly a committee of brethren and address those grievances, because there's no good reason to actually drop the F-bomb in open lodge. So where are other places? Now that we talked about the lodge, your home and family, business, where else should you never curse that will make a bad impression upon our fraternity? Well, obviously it's church. That's one place you never want to use profane language at all. I think it's completely inappropriate, and I know a lot of brothers watching this video would agree with me in saying so. So saying and using the F-bomb ever in church is just completely inappropriate, and there's multiple reasons why. One of those big ones, obviously, is a place of worship, it's the house of God, and now you're doing something that is completely against God's law, which the Masons really respect and abide by. Another reason why you never want to do that is the general public's there, and it makes our fraternity just look terrible if you're dropping the F-bomb and using foul language in front of the church community and having everyone in earshot hear it. It's just completely inappropriate. There's not even a good reason to tell a joke on church property while using profanity. It's just completely inappropriate. Okay, another reason why you never want to use profanity as a Mason on church property is there's children there. And let's face it, this is a big one. This could be a standalone item in its own. Why are you cursing in front of a child? Why are you going to curse in front of a community group with children in it. It just makes the fraternity look terrible. I mean, you can make a maybe somewhat plausible argument that you need to actually reprimand your child privately, and you might use a piece of foul language in that matter, but that's debatable. We could have a big debate about that, and if you do feel that's inappropriate, leave a comment in below and give me a good reason why. This is your chance to weigh in on this subject. I personally think, in general public, there is never a good reason to use profanity, especially in front of a child. As a Mason, we should never do that because that makes us look terrible, and we don't want to look terrible in front of the community. And since it's unbelievable, we don't want to do it, and we want to make sure that we protect ourselves and our fraternity in such a way that it never happens. So I always recommend, if you have nothing that you can say that's appropriate, just say nothing at all. End the conversation early, walk away, be the bigger person, take the higher ground, and just be humble. If someone has you one up on you and you have nothing to come back with, don't go over the top with profanity in front of children, in front of the church community, in front of the regular community. Just walk away. And as a Mason, you'll be much more well respected for doing so. Where are some other places that you should never use foul language as a Mason? Pretty much everywhere. I mean, schools are another big one. Obviously, I hit offices, churches, Freemason Lodge. Those are the obvious ones. But we want to make sure that we are being a great representation or a great role model to our community. So dropping the F-bomb anywhere at any time is just completely inappropriate, and I would definitely recommend you never do that. Okay, well, that's another episode of the Freemasonry Report. I want to go into profanity in detail and sort of help those new brothers that are coming in our fraternity just know where we stand on it. And if you disagree, if you think it's appropriate to drop the F-bomb in open launch, leave a comment below. I want to hear your rationale for thinking that's appropriate. If you're a new brother and you found this to be really useful information, click like and subscribe. Take advantage of listening to all the things that the Freemasonry Report is sharing out there. We have fun videos. I just did one recently on Freemasonry versus zombies, and there's more serious ones about promoting your fraternity, and each one is important. I have a new ebook coming out, and I hope you have a chance to invest in that. And the ebook is going to be about how to stop your lodge from closing its doors forever. So if you go to freemasonryreport.com, you can pick up a copy of that. Part of the proceeds is going to go help support Masonic charities. I'm going to be giving funding to the North American Masonic Association, so you can actually keep me honest if you buy a copy of the book and ask that organization, did you receive money from the Freemasonry Report? And the answer would be yes. So with that being said, I hope once this is up and running, you can get a copy of that book. I'm asking for $9.99 for the book, and it's an ebook, so you can download it. It's yours to keep forever. You can share it with friends, and it's a quick read, and it's very informative, and I hope you enjoy it. I'll have another ebook coming out after that. This ebook will also have a couple worksheets included with it, so you can take an action plan from the book, take some ideas from the book, get inspired from the book, and then also work with your brethren in your lodge if it's an issue in your lodge or any lodge in the Masonic district for that matter, and utilize those worksheets to help get them back on the right path. Now obviously you'll always want to make sure you're working with the District Deputy Grand Master or whatever title they have in your area, the district instructor, your Grand Lodge representatives. This is just a supplement to all the good things that they offer. So with that being said, I hope you be safe, stay healthy. Remember, click like and subscribe, all the things that the Freemasonry Report is doing, and thank you. Be safe.